and consciousness explorers around the world who join us on our weekly Earth Nouveau Zoom. It's really, really good to have you here. Martina, Mary and I are sometimes a little bit, we're involved in other projects like I'm sure you all are. So we came up very late with a sort of, have I got a echo, Martina?
Okay. Is it
Hold
me?
on.
Just mute yourselves, guys. Just mute yourselves when somebody else is talking, eh?
Right, now see if I still got an echo. No, okay. I actually messaged Martina. I said, there seems to be a lot of very ungrounded people at the moment and a lot of confusion. And then we suddenly decided that will be a great topic for the Zoom today. So really we want to address and get your input on how can we find peace in these times of great distraction. And I think it's something that's going to carry us forward in these times is if we can find the groundedness and the peace in ourselves. We all know that peace in the world starts with peace in ourselves. So if we could hold a Zoom, have a look at what tools, what methods we do to find ourselves peace. Now, it's easy to go into the middle of a forest and find some peace or sit on the beach with nobody there. But all around the world now, people are finding themselves in a lockdown situation. For example, I'm with my son and a 3-year-old and a baby. So when I do a meditation in a minute, there could be some distractions going on. So it's whether we can find peace in the middle of all these distractions going on in the news, maybe going on our streets and so on. And that's the real key to it, because you can find peace, but it's whether you can do it with everything else going on to outcreate everything that the media, the global narrative wants you to believe and everything else at the moment. So I thought to start with, to bring us all into a nice, peaceful place before we went any further. Some time ago, I wrote a meditation, opening the door to your heart as an avenue to peace. So if you like to settle yourselves down, you've all got your mics off, which is great. Let's all just take some nice deep breaths now and know that our Earth Nouveau is a very peaceful place. Opening the door to your heart is an avenue to peace. This is a teaching meditation. So in many shamanic practices, the start of any self-work begins with the heart portal. On a physical level, that's knowing where your heart is, how it operates, how it beats your lifeblood around your body, how it sustains you, how it carries the messages of your DNA, your history, your ancestry. You can affect your future and past selves and lineage by your connection to your blood. For your blood is that connection. Blood is a magical component to our body, and our heart is the caretaker of our blood. Focus on your heart, the very first part of us that was formed when we were a fetus in our mother's womb. Take some deep breaths and relax. Let go of everything the world wants from you and everything you want from the world. For we are entering this meditation in a no-time moment. Settle into your very divine beingness and go to your heart. Put your hand on your heart if it helps and picture it in your body, pumping away, sustaining life. Bring a visual image of your mind overlaid on your heart. By bringing your mind to your heart, you're operating from heart-mind, a balanced state of being. Now bring a visual image of your face over your heart. Now you have your full I am presence in heart-spaced awareness. Enjoy these moments as they are moments of self-connection, self-acknowledgement, self-nurture, self-understanding, self-reflection and self-healing. Let's take you further into that heart connection. Let's put a front door on the portal of your heart. Any door of your choosing, any front door that gives you pleasure. Any shape, any size. It might be a large solid oak front door with beautiful carvings, a modern painted white front door. It might be arched or with a pretty porch. Anything you choose. The choice is always yours. You can have a heart-shaped door or a small round door like a hobbit's house. Whatever door it is, open it. Only you hold the key to your heart, so use your heart key, turn the latch and step into that portal, that doorway, that hallway to your heart. Now, what do you feel in there? Watch the light flooding in as you open that door, like the sun that spills in bright waves of gold. Let's say we've opened the front door and the sunlight is pouring in, and your heart hall also has a window where the light pours in too. Look at this doorway. Has it got a polished oak floor or stone floor? Has it got a table with a bunch of fresh flowers or fruit? Or is your hallway just full of sunlight? Fill your hallway with everything you'd like in your own heart hallway. Fill it with happy memories and happy moments. Leave the door open to allow the sun to stream through. Take a look at your heart hallway and fill it with all the treasures you'd like to see in your heart hall. Let that sun, that golden light stream through the door and window and rest there a while. Feel yourself take in the beautiful light of the sun, the beautiful golden light filling the hallway of your heart. Feel that heart space open and accept it in. Now put yourself there in your open heart space and feel the warmth of the sunlight fill you. Now settle again with that vision, with all the things you've brought in to fill your hallway. Now there might be some things you want to let go of, maybe an old photo you don't want anymore, maybe an old relationship that's no longer serving you. Take it to the door, put it outside. For you now have a new hallway to your heart that you can fill with everything that's good and true and beautiful, everything that gives you peace and beauty. Go down one of the corridors off your hallway in the house of your heart. The light is streaming in now from the front door. Maybe there's places like an understair cupboard you've not been in for a long time. Maybe there's some things in there that need throwing out, putting outside the front door. Maybe there's still things in there you want to keep. Allow the light that you follow down the hallway to go into that recess, that little cupboard, so you can see what's in there. Maybe you've not looked in there for years. But do not go into any form of fear with this, for this golden light will always transform those dark places in that cupboard into full golden light. Maybe there's other cupboards that hold things that no longer work for you, things you've been putting off looking at. Let's look at them now in this new light for what they really are. For you can see now the light's fully illuminated in your heart cupboard. Go to the very center of your heart now, the hub. Let's go to one of the rooms off of the hallway. Follow where the golden light travels. Perhaps it's your living room or your study or your kitchen, where you feel the heart of your home is, or the home of your heart. Let's say we choose the kitchen. Go to your kitchen and see it as you would like to see it. Perhaps there's a big old farmhouse table in the middle, a big old wood burner, an Aga or stove with some delicious homemade soup bubbling away, or the smell of freshly cooked bread or brewed coffee. Try and imagine those smells too. Maybe this is where you sit on rainy afternoons and paint or draw, or maybe play music and dance. Remember, it's your kitchen, your heart hub. You can do anything you want in there. Look, there's some favourite things you've collected on the windowsill. There's copper pots and pans hung from racks and pretty china mugs. Have you created a kitchen, a living area, a hub of your heart, where you can sit and say, this is my domain, I belong here. No one else can come into my kitchen if I don't want them to. Here I can cook and I can sing at the top of my voice. I can dance and I can do anything of my choosing, for it's my domain. When I'm sat here at the very hub, in the very center of my heart, I'm sovereign, I'm powerful, the sort of power that gives me my freedom and self-sovereignty. And when I'm here, it's clear to me who I am and my place in this world, on this planet, in this universe, in this dream of life. And from this heart space, I know that every point along the way is choice, my choice, and mine alone. Every detail of the visualization you can choose for yourself. So bring here your thoughts, bring your mind, bring your eyes to your heart, and let's start to see the world from this space of safety, of sovereignty, of peace. Sit in your heart now in peace. No distractions. Enjoy these moments with the knowledge that any time you can go to your heart door, your heart hallway, your heart kitchen. Go to whatever gives you the sovereignty of your space, whatever gives you inspiration, peace, beauty, power of the self, connection to Earth Mother. And as the sun goes down, it leaves a beautiful soft residue of light in your heart that's always there. Just as your heart is always there beating and swooshing your lifeblood around your body. But now it has a protective gold coating of sun energy. And your blood cells carry that gold energy of protection and fortification. So give your heart gratitude and love. Give it acknowledgement of the pain and disappointment it's experienced, the sadness and the hurt, and send it warmth and light and all the wholesome goodness of your heart hub kitchen. Comfort it, cleanse it with red and green cleansing energies. Restock it with all the beautiful visions you've been creating from this meditation. And with the residue of the evening's golden light, you are now ready to live your life from that place of peace and heart space love. Aho.
Aho. Beautiful.
Aho.
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 Oh,
Wow.
Laura.
wow.
Boy, you're loved up.
Good. Do we all feel nice and peaceful now?
Wow, Laura.
Did you enjoy that?
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. I enjoyed being in my kitchen, Lana says. Home is where the heart is. Absolutely. Yeah. Lovely.
Amazing.
I wanted to really put that forward because it seems to me when we turn on the television in this house, and it's not often we actually watch the news here, it's full of the uncertainty, it's full of fear. It's almost like they're putting forward an uncertainty and an unknowingness. And we know in this group and through Andrew's teachings, we actually don't mind unknowingness. We actually want to go to the edge of our unknowingness. We're not scared of the unknown, knowing. We want to use it as a platform to discovery rather than be in fear. So just, I think now by being on this Zoom, we're switching, flipping the frequencies, as we say. We're switching those energies into a more peaceful place. So other than meditation, I mean, meditation is just the very basic, the very start, like mindfulness, where you can go with this. So I was going to ask, what other ways do people go to outcreate the distractions in this global narrative of fear at this time, particularly in lockdown? Who's got some tools we could all use?
I have. So for me, it's a balance. You know, spiritual hygiene is essential for me in order to achieve peace. In whichever way, shape or form one practices that, spiritual hygiene is paramount. But then there are those times where it feels like it may be a chore. And in those moments, you have to know when to let down, because sometimes the spiritual process itself can fight against you. You know, so for me, peace is finding that equilibrium, only doing things when I feel inspired to do it, but making sure that I do also put effort in. So spiritual hygiene for me, massive one.
Absolutely. And the joyful effort behind that.
Absolutely. You have to want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
maintaining connection whichever way you can. So like with, I don't know, WhatsApp calls or messenger video and things like that with friends and people, so you don't get isolated.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
on Zoom.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's become a Zoom.
It's such a good question actually to ask, what does actually peace mean to you? And if I ask, like you asked that question, Laura, for me, it's interestingly enough, commitment. Because I probably haven't been so good at it, or it's not something that I've been very much aware of. I think I'm doing it without knowing. And that's why probably me naming it and acknowledging it, there's almost like a peacefulness in that. And at the moment, to answer your question, it's the breathing. To actually really focus 33 minutes a day on the breath, on this Kundalini breathing that I'm doing. That's really helping me to connect to my inner peace, to my peacefulness through that commitment of the breath.
Yeah, Lynn's put up absence of anxiety, which absolutely is a prerequisite to any of this, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it might be just an interesting offshoot just to go on this anxiety angle for a moment. How do we all deal? What makes us anxious in the beginning? Really looking at that, and is it our business? Where are we finding our energy that we're being anxious about something?
Can I say something, Martina? Or, sorry, Laura?
Yeah, of course. Go on.
No, because you asked for tools, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So when we have peace within ourselves, everything else ceases to exist. Everything. And I did a 24-hour meditation, and you might underestimate meditation because a lot of people say, oh, that's nothing. I wouldn't underestimate it if you really do it. You know, it depends how you do it. I wouldn't underestimate it, but it doesn't matter anyway. When peace becomes within yourself, everything else ceases to exist. So I spoke to one of my clients and I said, look, you know, when you're washing your hands, excuse my pun, you know, like you make a choice. I'm going to wash my hand, right? You just make it subconsciously, like Martina was saying. You just do it. Yeah. So how come we can't make a choice? Just say, okay, today I'm going to be joyful. Today I'm going to be peaceful. So that's an exact same tool that comes from within is the exact same process. Nothing, that's so simple. I'm going to make a choice and have a slice of bread. That's the same thing. It's the same tool applies to every single thing. And I agree with Martin. I did breathing. I do some breathings, different type of breathing. But I've noticed that my body is totally changed. Obviously, I'm doing it, you know, every day. But my body is. But I said to my client, how come? It's so simple to make a choice to wash our hands, but we cannot make a choice to let go of anxiety, to let go of fear, to let go of anger, to let go of whatever it is. It's not, we are not in our grounding, like you say, Laura, in the beat. How come?
So, Andrea, can I, because I want to write this down because we might be able to use it, you
know?
know?
Sorry.
No. So what I'm getting from you is peace for you is washing your hands.
No. This is just a tool.
What I'm saying is, it's finding.
This is just a tool. For me, peace.
If I can just summarize what I understood, and then you can correct me if I misunderstood. Yeah.
Okay.
So peace for you is finding freedom in the daily action and doing it almost like automatically. Is that correct? Or give me one word, or give me one sentence, because otherwise I'm getting a bit confused here. Give me one sentence. What is peace for you?
Peace for me, where everything ceases to exist, because everything is an illusion. And you have peace within yourself, and you are in the flow, and you don't even think of anything. You just go about your day in peace.
So if I say everything ceases to exist, then you're in the flow.
Yeah. And the reason, because Laura asked for a tool, I'm just saying, giving you an example of a tool. If we make so many choices during the day, because we do.
You're a bit,
And
Martina.
you know what I mean? So it's easy to, that should be the opposite of what we don't want, should be also very easy to choose. So how come we don't choose? Not
I
only
think-
us, but whoever, you know, I'm just saying.
I think that, Andrea, would it be fair to say what you're saying is choosing peace is a conscious, aware choice, like washing your hands. That's what you're saying, isn't it? It's a conscious,
Sorry.
aware choice to choose peace. We can choose peace. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Who else has got something to say on peace? Sorry,
Okay,
somebody wants
So
say
I'll add a little bit more, Laura. So I think when I feel really peaceful is when I'm offering no resistance to whatever I'm doing in the moment. You know, sometimes I find myself being in the future, even if it's just an hour in the future. Shit, I've got to get this done before the Zoom, you know, or in the past, something that's happened, something that's coming up in the mind matter. But if I'm practicing the things I need to practice and doing the right things with my body, then I'm accepting of everything that's going on around me. So there's no resistance at all. And that's when I feel in peace. Again, going back
Yeah.
to the joy.
And that's what I would call allowance too.
Sure.
So in allowance, you're then allowing the universe to work through you and with you.
Yeah. I think for me, Laura, it would have a lot to do with that, with the allowance, because there's always going to be something, you know, there's always some little thing niggling in the background or some little worry, or, you know, mostly in our lives. And it's for me, it's about being able to allow that in that space and have my peace running at the same time, parallel to that. So I see peace running parallel to everything. It doesn't exist separately of anything. All of the other realities are there running right with it. But it doesn't mean that they can compromise my peace. I can choose that.
I really like that, Mary, because you've put it as something, as you said, that is always there. And for me, it's something, it's a road I'm on, and then I come off on the, you know, I take a turning off and then I turn back onto the peaceful road. I like that. It is something that's always there and always available to us as a choice, isn't it? But why?
Well, yes, it's a kind of a state of consciousness that's
Yeah,
forever present. We don't lose it because we're struggling or because we're in a place where we have anxiety. We still haven't lost our peace, because that's equally there as well. It's just being able to allow them all to exist at the same time.
Yeah, it's still available to us. It then
Yes.
always goes back to the question of choice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I suppose to make the choice sounds easy, but I think that that's actually quite difficult at times. I think that it is difficult to choose peace when we're struggling, you know, in particular ways or in particular areas of our life. We all know, each of us, how that manifests for us. And it is about the choice, but it's being able to get yourself to that place of that choice can be difficult.
Totally, because there's so many prerequisites we need almost to get to that. And one is sort of getting out of the fear of survival at the moment.
Yes.
You know, and I
think,
read
sorry.
Facebook. Sorry, darling. Go on.
No, go on, Laura. No, I'll finish in a minute. Yeah, go on.
There was a Facebook post this morning that said the aim of my day is to get up, survive, and go to bed. That was her lockdown. Lockdown experience, because she'd had COVID, was like, oh, I'm still alive, and that is my day. So from that position, it is hard to get a sort of a baseline for peace, isn't it? There's other prerequisites that are required, and part of that, as I was saying we were saying earlier, weren't we, Martina, about the ungroundedness that's happening around us. And I'm wondering if, I mean, you have to be, you know, to find that peace, you've got to be grounded, you've got to be present to get that peace. So why are people becoming so ungrounded at the moment? You can't just say it's it's the energies. I mean, there's more. Is there a fear that people are going through with lockdown, with the virus and so on?
I think what you know what I was going to say earlier there, Laura, and it ties in a bit with what Martina was talking about with the Kundalini breath. I think that it's beginning to be more about discipline, that we can discipline ourselves to choose that. As I was saying earlier, there's always going to be something that will be taking that away from us. But if we can discipline ourselves, for me anyway, it's about discipline. It's about just being able to discipline myself in the moment, to calm myself, to find that space of peace or whatever.
Yeah. And you know, I think what we're seeing in the external world as well is the fact that everybody seems to have a different opinion as to what's going on and how it's happening. And this is even within family structures, because everybody's had the narrative to support them. You know, the narrative was just ticking along quietly in the background, and everyone was able to find this place of peace wherever they could find it. But now the narrative has changed, and so everybody has this perspective or opinion on what's going on. You know, and no, you know, there's not many people that are coming together and being able to say, yeah, I agree. You know, so it comes down to, can you just own your own shit without any projections from other people or projecting on others? I find it terribly difficult when I walk down the street and somebody jumps 6 meters away from me or hides behind a lamppost. I've had that. People literally hide behind a lamppost until I've walked past, you know? And there's a part of me just wants to look at them and go, you know, like, you know, it's just one of these things, isn't it? The whole situation's creating a sense of discord.
And a great deal of polarization is what you're saying, isn't it? Yeah.
Other thing, oh, sorry, Sean.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to say, in my awareness, peace is the goal, but also the process. And the thing that comes to my mind about the process is deep breathing. So it's a continuous quest for more peace, more centeredness, and just like one deep breath.
Yeah. And you could use other words other than peace. The whole point of what I was putting forward is the sort of the drama that's out there in the world. How are we going to stabilize ourselves? How are we going to achieve the neutrality? Because it's only from being in the sacred neutral that we can really co-create with the eighth color of time, the mystical, we're consciousness explorers. We want to move forward, which was my point on meditation, Andrea. I love meditation, and I would never discount it, and I don't do enough myself. But it's the same with just sort of, if we just stuck to that and mindfulness, we're keeping ourselves at a level when we are, you know, we have so much unlimited potential. It's always about moving on from there, isn't it? Asking the question all the time to move ourselves, to evolve, because at the end of the day, we're all here to evolve our souls and to move towards the fifth world of peace, if that's your belief.
Which also means, sorry.
No, go on.
Sorry. It adds importance onto meditation as well, because, you know, we're going to be in our houses a lot over the next couple of years, you know, and so, you know, even the meditational process is obviously one of the paramount things that we can explore, but that must evolve and grow as well. You can't just keep that in a stalemate either, you know. And there are a lot of meditations, like meditation can be the journey and stuff like that, but some of it is, especially with some of the AB material, with the different kind of helix visualizations and things, you know, anything that gets stuck in your aura can be cleared through your meditational process. Just like the same way you brush your teeth, you know, you can record just a quick sort of 5-minute quickie on your phone with a bit of music in the background, and every morning, bang, just do that, and it clears all that out of your field, you know. But these things must evolve and grow as well.
Yes, and they're tools, actually, aren't they, Massey? They could be classified as the tools to get you there. Yeah.
I'd like to also add something here before we, just one thing. I've been realizing one thing, that even though we spend a lot of time inside on our own, and even if you would take away social media for a moment, there seems to be a renaissance of emotions. There seems to be an anxiety, if you want to call it like that, an anger, a rage that just flares up. That doesn't necessarily require even a trigger. It's almost like it can be triggered by the dream state now. It can be get through.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do, what I'm doing is I have to look at the unseen, and it's almost like taking the perspective, taking the focus of this reality and realizing that the level of sovereignty, self-healing and self-mastery is now focused on the unseen world.
Mm.
So my distinct understanding now is that I have to really advance my levels and actually start everything that I've learned now in this reality and start applying that to the unseen. And that's,
Yeah.
for me, that's the invitation, because there is, like, today's what, the 13th, and as I said yesterday, I think it feels like I already lived a whole year, because there's so much going on in the unseen. You find that too?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I don't even watch the news, like, because we are perceiving it anyway.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
really, the simplest tool to acknowledge that is really, who does that belong to? Any anxiety, any emotion, it's
Yeah.
almost like the old wounds, they haven't healed yet completely. It's like they're gasping open for a couple more breaths. And if you're not careful, you step right into it. You're right there again.
Yes.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Hi.
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 Robin here. I recognize most of you. When I first started, found Andrew by accident on video, it was really at a time of my life where I was at extreme stress, anxiety, overload. Everything in me had, like, whatever had been unfolding my whole life, like, magnified. And I lived under somebody who was an energy, very unbalanced and all over the place, and kind of neurotic and schizophrenic and narcissistic. And I was melding all of it together, and I couldn't distinguish whose energy was what. All of my intuitive, my systems seemed to be working against me, and I was distrusting my own core self. So by the time I went to Andrew's event in 2017, I was a walking cripple. It took every ounce that I could get to get on the plane from Florida, to go to Detroit, to get on another plane, go to Texas, to get on another plane and go to Seattle and stay there for the 4 days and talk and walk. It took every ounce of courage that I had. I was so under PTS, stress syndrome. And at that whole time, my sensing systems had magnified, and what I could hear and what I could feel, and affecting street lights and city lights and the colors of lights. It just really, I was hanging on. And so what I really had to do was, it was a step-by-step thing. But one of the things I'm hearing to really share with all of you is, because I am obviously working on a very dimensional energy packet all the time. When some people hear things, some people see things, I would see, hear, feel, see, all the different levels. Plus talking in light I was doing it to my son when he was 4 years old back in the early 90s. It just came naturally. But one of the things I want to say is, I'm listening to everybody's take on what peace is, or how they try to find peace. And for me, it's still almost an everyday conscious. I feel it, I see it, something's happening here, something going out there. And I may I can feel it immediately. And it may take me a few seconds, may take me a couple of minutes, but usually not long. Sometimes I will struggle with it for a few hours. But what I try to do, instead of doing all the questionings and all the other things, is I go, okay, is this me? Is this how I want to be? There's energy here. What can I do with this energy right now that's in me that can help? So I move, I dance, I sing, I pray, I talk to the star, I talk to the sun, I talk to the wind. I actively do something to, excuse my language, to move the fucking energy out of me. Okay? It has to go. It's moving. It's energy. If I stop here and ask myself 1,000 questions, it gets a chance to anchor in me and stay longer. I personally, this I am presence has to, because of what I know and doing energy work for so freaking long, I have to do something actively with that energy. And so what I do is I immediately try to give myself whatever I need to get to that point to then start actively saying, no, I don't choose to tap into this dominating energy. I don't choose to support it. You're encapsulated in your own saying. You're insulated. You can't conduct me. I'm not agreeing to your resonance. Now let me use this energy and find something in me. And so then I put my attention right then and there on whatever myself says to do, whether it's to bless something, send prayers out to everybody, remember one of your beautiful faces and something that you've just said recently that inspired me, or what can I do that might, as my energy goes out, go around the world and affect all of you, whether you see my face or not. So I'm trying to actively do it. Forget the damn words. The words for me are stumbling blocks. I'm dyslexic, I'm right-handed, no, I'm left-handed, I'm an artist. Everything in my life that is a trueness has been denied. So I've had to look to work around all of that. So right now I feel like I've dropped a time bomb here, or a bomb, but anyway, sorry. Thank you.
No, thank you. That was great.
That's beautiful, Robin. Thank you. I love that, because what you're talking about is out creating.
Absolutely.
Out creating the global.
Absolutely. There's this energy here and it wants you to go in there so it can grow. And I'm going, no, man. I ain't gonna give you, no, give me some of yours. I'm gonna take yours and take it with me, you know? You want it? You wanna play this game? Okay, yours is mine now. I get, it's like the Highlander, that thing goes down and you get that spirit if you're willing to understand that it has nothing but what you make of it. So, okay, you wanna take mine? Okay, you owe me, thanks, see ya. And you're gone.
You need that prayer process for that. You have to have that prayer process. You see, I left school with no qualifications. I've never been academic in my life, but where it comes to the ebb and the flow of prayer, it changes everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
In that moment, your words have such power because you give it that power through choice.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Most of those pictures that I share are a result of just doing something like that. And I go outside and that's what I'm given. So those pictures that I share on my page, that's where they come from. Those are my recordings of my mystical experiencing, taking my own. You want to give me yours? Okay, I'll use yours too, So, all right. Sorry.
Beautiful. Oh, it's great. It's great to have you on here. It's really good to have you on here. I've read so many of your posts and so many of your beautiful words. And you don't seem to stumble with your words at all. You draw with your words. Beautiful. You paint with them. Beautiful. Thank you.
Lovely to get. It's so lovely to get all these people that I've seen for years and finally get them on and just get to interact properly. It makes me wonder why I never did it before.
The energy together when the one gentleman, who is it, Sean? When Sean came on and said, oh, the energy is so different here, it's like immediately it even changed, like this rose blossomed. So it warmed my heart. Thank you all.
And it's nice to see some faces.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you. It's lovely to see you.
Yeah, like Alan, we haven't seen you on video before. It's really good to actually see you.
Can I say something, Laura? Of
course.
If nobody minds it, you know that I write poetry just like Robin, and I have been writing a lot last year. I don't really talk about it, but I have been writing a lot. And one morning I just woke up and I wrote this. It's called the pillar of peace. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah,
it's not long.
Sure.
So it's called the pillar of peace. I am the pillar of peace. my dreams manifest with ease. I start my day from within, open my heart and feel my skin. I ignite my soul to awaken the light, invite Mother Earth to become bright, revoking ancient contracts to end, inspiring divine love to ascend. Being in silence is a cosmic voice. I am the vibrational pillar of choice. Those who hear the silent touch will receive and won't judge. Giving love from a kind heart is an ancient and attractive art. It moves the world and the stars, no matter how far they are. I send the peace within to you. Let your dream show you what is true. I detach and invite some space. I am grateful for the infinite grace. I trust that in the universal dream, one day there will be a peaceful beam. Until then, I cherish the moment of now, creating my kingdom in my own town.
Oh, that's
That's it.
gorgeous. Beautiful.
That's it.
Beautiful.
I have loads of this, but I like what Matty said about when he was walking, you know, when he was walking like somebody behind the post. What happened to me last year, I was walking on my own and I got to this crossing and there was 5 guys, you know, with the hard hats, very good looking ones. And I always have my glasses on. My glasses never come off. If they come off, it's either to harm you or charm you. Because like, so anyway, and as I was walking and they were coming opposite to me, obviously with, you know, like COVID, so they lined up next to me to give me space, which was really nice of them. And as I was walking by, I just thought, I have to do this. I looked back, I removed my glasses a little bit, and I said, don't worry, I'm not human. And I winked at them and I put my glasses back. They just started laughing. They said it's the best moment in 2020 they ever had. I wanted to actually ask my number. I didn't give my number, but it was so funny. Don't worry, I'm not human. And I just kept going. You know, you have to make fun. You have to, you know, to make fun.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So let's ride on that wave for a moment and look at the unseen. Because having done what we've done at the moment, you know, being in our heart space with lovely Laura's meditation and Andrea's poem here, and you know, being in that heart space and being, because we are supposed to be peacemakers and peacekeepers. So let's look at the unseen. Do we have any unseen beings? Because I'm perceiving there's quite a bit of entourage here today. And does anyone want to introduce anyone to this conversation, to this peace conversation? What do they make of our conversation today?
So we can do then, Martina. What about we just bring in a certain energy and everyone can feel it? Yeah.
Why don't you do that? Yeah.
So just concentrate now. This is a collective that I work with, an off-world collective. And so there's a very unique ship. So anybody who's a signature frequency match for it, we're going to ask them now to focus down a beam of energy to each and every participant. Take it to all of the mitochondria power plants. Can anybody see anyone?
No, but I hear him, feel him.
Yeah. What's going on, Robin?
It's like a room full here.
Yeah.
It's just a presence. but it's
Oh.
multi-presence. It's a good presence, soothing, like a cool, warm color feeling. But I don't feel any individuation. I just feel like there's a mass of them packed in here right now.
That's it. And they're very keen on the whole collective idea. You're always speaking with the collective, and collectives of collectives of collectives of collectives. So that's how I'm experiencing the unseen world at the moment. It's very hard to individuate anything. It's like a soup.
So would you want to bring a message forward from them with regard to the conversation that we've had here?
Well, each and every individual being has the opportunity to communicate with just such a massive amount of other beings off world, and they are waiting for us. But the thing is that they adhere to not stepping on anybody's journey. So you have to find the way to ask. And sometimes that's not just by asking out loud, it's by your own actions. No,
Just for anybody, you know, I don't want to put you on the spot here, you know, or anything. I mean, for me, you know, continuously having a chat, you know, and there's very often there's nothing specific as such, because, you know, they're just playing with that energy, and it's almost like a reciprocation of our invitation that is going out on a daily basis, because we're obviously embracing that peacemaker position, and the peacemaker and the peace seeker and the peace what's the other piece, that sort of thing. And it's really what I can pass on is that the invitation is received, and really it's a matter of getting out of that new advanced level of polarization and allowing yourself to go through the emotional renaissance, and not thinking for one moment that that will go away, but it's more like flowing through it, acknowledging, letting it go, acknowledging, letting it go, acknowledging, letting it go. And the more we do that, the more they will be able to more and more communicate, and also finding our personal way of communication. So like Robin says, she can't see them. I can't see them. I get a lot of symbolism. So they give me, they continuously show me like a gift or something. At the moment, it's just colors, lots and lots of colors to basically say there are so many different levels of awareness, and they are interested in communing and communicating with all those different levels of awareness, as long as there is a sort of neutral perspective going on, so that they have an opportunity to communicate with us.
This is it. And the thing is that communications, we tend to have this hierarchical kind of perspective of it, but we are the beings of the now, here at the Great Awakening on Earth Mother, and what we do in service to them heals them greatly. And, you know, it's not all about having spaceships come over or you know, or having these incredible things. It's about what you have to offer as well. Even the contract revocations and the prayers and things like this, you know, begin to speak those kind of dialogues to these beings, because they love that kind of stuff. You know, if you just sit down and you read a contract revocation, my favorite one is the Union Communion Consciousness. You dedicate that to a collective, and you can, it's as simple as that. You just bring in that collective, and with your own journey, as long as you're, you know, balanced and you're doing your ceremonies and whatnot, then, you know, the right energies will come into your aura. And just offer those prayers, offer them to these off-world beings as well, because they're there to receive, and they will let you know, there is magic there. And then but it's never instant gratifying. That's one thing. I've had a lot of interaction with extraterrestrials and extra dimensionals, and it's never instantly gratifying. There's always room for maneuver for your mind space to outcreate what's happened, or create with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the I just got like a little when Maddie was talking, one of the things I felt to share was that because every layer, every dimension is like part of a whole, you know. It may seem to us like it's forever out there, but it's not. And one of the things, the thing I heard was that we can be so caught up with in what we can do out there, that what they are saying to me is that by paying attention and doing better here, you automatically then reflect out there and affects there. And there is no time lag. It's like what is immediate here is immediate there, wherever. So, you know, we can be drawn to go out there and do this and do that. But if we're really here on earth at this time, at this moment, then, and unless, you know, that's been one of our drives since we were a kid, perhaps, you know, by really seizing as much as we can of each moment, each day, each year, and what can I do to make my sphere more integral and be able to flow in that gel with everybody else, so that we can co-create without the dissonance, you know. Because whatever we do here, we're broadcasting, it's going to continue to go out. The waves are going to go out. The waves are going to go out. But if I jump from here and I jump over there, you know, I may miss an opportunity, you know, I may miss that opportunity to keep that second and third beat going of the rhythm. I don't know, just.
And it's also getting to a stage where it's no longer a doing and it becomes a being.
Yes. Yes.
Where you actually start to almost, you know, bring that balance, that equilibrium into that space where everything just happens. And then you add a pinch of trust and a pinch of faith, and just know that whatever you're supposed to be seeing, hearing, feeling, perceiving is exactly the right thing for you synchronistically.
Yeah, and if it doesn't feel right, you know it, and you know, kind of like it, let it go. But yeah, we are so free. I remember going to Arizona the year before I met Andrew and some of the rest of you, and there was a gentleman that I was led to, probably in his 80s, you know, probably about shoulder tall to me, but very deep into the sciences, into the sacred schools. And you know, he said some things to me that kind of blew my socks off. But one day I was walking with him back up to his trailer, and he was on the step, and all of a sudden he appeared in form, like, you know, a huge form looking down on me like the friendly giant. And I was like, George, you really got big there. And he goes, oh, did I? And then he kind of shrunk back down into his form and walked in the house. But, you know, what we can do here affects all the rest of those that are trying to communicate with us, because we're so connected.
Doesn't, and that leads to another point as well. Martina's mentioning the unseen world at the moment. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but the ghost activity has changed as well. Yeah. It seems to be, you know, they're becoming a lot more bold and brazen or hungry. I don't quite know which one it is. That's a big thing I've seen in the unseen world at the moment. And from what you were saying, Robin, is also the, you know, our contribution, what we can choose to do with it as well. You know, there's so much you can do for the unseen world, even just once a week. If you open up a hub of interconnectivity to cross over any discarnates in your area, you know, you make the ancestral prayers, you open up the portal to the Rainbow Bridge, and you just bring them through, and you just hold space. All these things, they don't take much out of our life, but they are of service to the unseen world, you know. And it is there. I have nothing against the ghost community at all. You know, I actually enjoy interacting with them sometimes, you know. But all of that seems to be a big soup at the moment. And, you know, there's a lot of hauntings going on in people's houses, people that don't practice the spiritual hygiene, a lot more than I've seen in recent times.
Yeah, is this going to be a bit of a kick-ass year? I think, isn't it? Yeah. Because of lockdown. Sorry, Mary, I was just going to say one because of lockdown as well. People, you know, in the UK, I don't know what it is in the US at the moment. There's some of you on lockdown and some not. But anyway,
it varies.
It varies.
It varies, and the degree of it varies also.
Yeah, we've had that, but now we're on a total UK lockdown. And I think you are in Northern Ireland. In Ireland, are you,
We
Mary?
are, yeah, totally. And actually, this one is different because it's right in the middle of the winter, so the weather is bad, and it's dark. Now, the weather last week was beautiful. We got beautiful winter sunshine, but you really, you know, well, you can go out for the walk and that. But I know the last time I was out an awful lot during lockdown, I just found places to go around the house and that. But this time I'm just much more inward, and it's very interesting because I mean, you know, it kind of reflects the winter too, because the darkness, and it's about going in, and the lockdown has just kind of exaggerated that in a way, if you like. But I'm not that aware of it at the same time. When I'm going through lockdowns, I'm not going around thinking, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't go out today. I know that it's there, but I kind of just carry on life as normal, because actually I think I said it before on one of the last Zooms, there's a part of me that has always been happily locked down anyway, so it doesn't really upset me that much at all.
Well, a great time to do the work, isn't it? A great time to do self-reflection and self-healing, those who haven't been doing it. Yes, hello, Kitty. Introduce us to your unentangled observer, Robin.
This is Mortimer. He will be a year old next week. And I was asking for a new friend for a while, and I thought, how am I gonna know? How am I gonna know? And you know, they say, you'll know. So anyway, I started looking at humane societies, and you couldn't go. You had to make an appointment. You can only make an appointment to see one thing. So I saw this fellow's face on there, and I thought, okay. So I called and made the appointment. So I'm like talking to him all night, and I'm going, Mortimer, this is Robin. I don't know what kind of life you've had, but if you're willing to get along with me, I'll make sure you're taken care of good. So anyway, I got him, and on the way home, he scratched his way out of the box and sat next to me, and that was fine. It's been good ever since. For 6 months. So.
Fabulous.
A little wizards.
Go on, Alan's putting a lot of funny things up in the chat.
Yes. Me too.
Can I read this? I never even paid. Can you read the chat later? Wow.
You can read it while you're on, yeah.
Also, Robin, you can save the chat. I think it's possible to save the chat. I forgot to say that.
Yeah. I never do.
So if you click on those little dots on the right-hand side, when it says file,
yes,
and you can go there and save the chat.
Oh, you can. It says save chat. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Andrea.
Also, you can just like scroll the chat back if you missed something.
Oh, I haven't read any of it.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
You can say it out loud as well, Alan, if you like. You can save it.
Damn.
Was he listening to our conversation, or?
Robin wants to know how you save it.
Robin, can you see those little dots? When it says file at the bottom right?
Okay, let me see.
Bottom right, little dot.
Bottom right. Bottom right.
Yeah.
You mean like where the pictures are?
No, I mean where the Zoom is.
Oh, I see it. Yes, file. Yes. Okay. It wasn't showing before. I wasn't seeing it. So yes, no?
See that?
Click on the 3 little dots, Robin, and save chat comes up, and just press save chat and you'll be able to do it that way.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this unseen world chat we're having at the moment. Anybody like to expand on that? Who's had experiences? I mean, to use a well-known phrase, the veils are thinning. And that is what it feels like to me. I think it feels like that to most of us here. I've had some quite surprising revelations from the fairy realm, which I hadn't particularly connected myself to before, which has been, well, yeah, revealing and exciting for me. But I'm sure, you know, you've all got something there where you've had maybe some sort of contact without even realizing it in some ways.
Tell us about the fairies.
Yeah.
What did you get? What did you?
Well, dreams, and also because most of you know I'm now living at my son's house, so I've had to start again with all the land ceremonies and so on, and honouring the ancestors. And because I will be living at the bottom of the garden here under some pine trees, which happen to be my favourite trees. So I've been doing a lot of ancestral offerings and fires and so on. And I had one lovely evening where I gave some offerings and then stepped back, and Cheddar, the dog that many of you have seen as well, this lovely American cocker, I was here on my own, and he was sat out on the patio and he wouldn't come in, and he was staring at the trees at the bottom of the garden. And I kept calling him to come in, he wouldn't come in. So I went and stood behind him, and I just stood for a while, and suddenly I realized the trees were dancing. So it was a very beautiful experience to actually watch the trees dancing. And I like to think they were dancing in joy, because, you know, I've been doing the offerings and doing the work. And then I've had things like that before when I've done prayers at sacred sites, and then the trees of, Martina and Mary know this well, the trees have come to me in dream time and said, bring us more messages of peace. So I do get things like that, but the fairies came just in dreams. And of course, I'd always had this typical view of fairies of being little. And this was not, he was a big fairy. He was taller than me. Do they call them the Shay, Mary? Are they the Shay?
The Shay, I think, is the Irish
Oh,
for
yeah,
fairy.
because
Yeah.
Jonathan, who we had on, was talking about the Shay, wasn't he?
He was, yes.
And they're not little people. And then they just gave me a password in Dreamtime. If I needed anything, I was to call the fairy butler.
Wow.
How cool.
I've tried that. I now use that as a password for a lot of things. So let's see what manifests from that. But I don't dismiss anything that comes to me like that in dream time. I mean, it doesn't matter, because you know, you take it on board, and so there's not much, but it lights up your life.
I've had an experience with the fairies this year as well. Quite often when I see them, they're just like just a little light that would just go like that, and they do make a flicker sound as well. Sometimes when they're in my field. But I had one where I was lying in bed. This is 7 months ago, and I just couldn't sleep, and the whole air turned milky. I mean, you all know what that's like when you're lying there and it's kind of dark and everything's just, and then I saw this kind of like, it just looked like an octopus tentacle that was coming down in front of me, and I put my hand up, and it started to wrap, and it felt like electricity. It was actually like, like static electricity all over my hand. It had mass, and then it transformed into this little fairy sitting on my hand. and it was their residual image is obviously, it's dependent upon how your consciousness and what you see them as, and then it turned back to an energy. That's the most close a fairy's ever come to me. The Fey world and all that, it does seem to be, like you say, the veils are thinning. I know it's such a silly cliche thing to say, but they do, and month by month by month, and you'll see that there'll be periods where you can really interact with those layers of the unseen world, and other times where they're just not close.
There's an experience that when Martina and Andrew was doing a show, and Andrew kept losing a video or something. Anyway, Martina was kind of stepping in, and so I asked her, I said, well, what about sprites? And and so I just saw that as you guys were talking about this. And so there was an experience I had. It was 2015-16, the winter. And I had just moved away from where the stalker lived, the crazy guy. And I was sitting on my little back porch by the driveway, and it was freezing cold and snow up to yin yang and a row of trees. And I'm smoking, okay? And I'm watching the trees, and all of a sudden it's like going, fireflies? Oh, fireflies. Is it time for fireflies? And I'm watching it, and it's like making a pattern. It's like going up the tree and out the branch and down and around. And then I realized there's 2 or 3 of them doing it. And then I realized there's a whole string of doing it. And they're like doing this little dance. letting me know that they're all there. And so Martina, I'm especially was told to share that with you from the very beginning and again today. So whatever, there you go.
Fantastic. Well, they're so joyful, isn't it? And a bit mischievous as well to a certain extent, you know, all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Very wise, very old, very ancient, very magical.
I've had a dream the other day where 2 days ago, actually on the 11th, I've written that down, where I've met a part of my soul family. And I remember walking in, and initially it was like I was adopted, and that changed afterwards. It was just a meeting. And I walked in, and they all looked very elderly people and a bunch of youngsters. And as soon as I walked in, the youngsters walked up to me, like 3-4 years old, and we just had a laugh and stuff. And then there was lots of rooms, and by the time I got through the third or fourth room, there was the last room. There were about 12 people in there. They looked very human, very normal. And they didn't, because I shook everyone's hand, and they didn't extend their hand towards me. So I felt a little bit of, okay. So I extended it, and then we shook hands as well. And it was that type of stuff. And then, I had that feeling of, I knew it was my soul family, but I thought they're a bit boring, really. They just look like normal people, And all of a sudden I felt like, well, if this is all my family now, I started feeling a bit like, this is too much. I'm not used to this. I almost live on my own. What is going on now? Can I do this? And I said, look, guys, I've just got to go and get my car, and I'll meet you, because we were going to a holiday place. And they said, no, that's fine. You can go and get the car, but don't bring anything else. So that was the thing. I just had to bring, the car was okay, but just myself. And that was basically it. So I woke up in the morning, and I thought, no, this is cool. I met my soul family, a bit boring, but it is what it is, right? And then I did my meditation, and I thought, let me actually have another look at that. And as I said, who are you really, guys? They all took off their disguising skin suits and showed me who they really were. And it was amazing. They were all different species, colorful as hell, and basically saying to me, we didn't want to do this in the dream space because you probably would have freaked out or something, but now you're awake and you're doing your meditation. And it was really cool. But the interesting thing is, I felt like, oh, is this too much? Like, I can't really, be with you guys. But obviously the realization afterwards, like, I don't have to go to everyone's funeral and and wedding and everything. I can just choose. But it was a really nice way of interacting with the unseen. And there's a lot going on in the dream world, just like Laura said. So watch out for that. And even if you, the next day, if you don't necessarily know what it was, just carry on playing with the dream, because the dream carries on in your awake state. You don't even have to be lucid. You just look at it, and I wouldn't have seen them if I wouldn't have done that exercise the next day. They showed themselves, to me in the morning.
So imagine that every time that you get like a new piece, you have that overwhelming, like, oh, this is too much. Oh, that really, it's a wonderful way that you put it, because that really is an experience that people can have when you become aware of a bigger awareness. Okay. When you're aware that there's someone talking to you, or you're aware that they're your soul family. And it's interesting because just a couple of days ago, I had a dream, and when I woke up, I said, yeah, I was talking with people I knew. And so, cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, and another thing just to add here, it never looks like, or it never shows up the way you think it should.
No.
Because, expectation is our joy kill, because I was like, if I connect with my soul family or part of my soul family, it's going to be a party and like whoa and light and this and that. And it wasn't. It was like, oh, boring people, but okay then, so at the end of the day, it is still what it is. What your belief engine allows you to make it, of course.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alan's asking about dragon energy.
Yes, you got a lot of experience with that, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else feeling dragon energy?
Yeah, all the time.
Feeling I didn't catch what was the beginning statement? What about dragon energy?
Dragon energy. Alan was asking about dragon energy. It's something that we've been co-creating with quite a lot this year. It seems to be, especially elemental energies as well. Me and Laura had a beautiful experience.
Dragon energy is coming back. So, but it's not, there's a lot of things in what we know and what we don't know, but yeah, dragon energy is coming back.
So I experience dragon energy. I experience it like it's very hard to differentiate between my energy and their energy. So with the dragon energy, it's in moments of inspiration and power when I really feel that energy, especially when you're in the flow of prayer or when you're on a certain land that has a real frequency with you. 1 minute, babies. Yeah, but that's been increasing a lot recently, dragon energy. I don't really have the words to put it, to kind of tidy it up, if that makes sense, because it's just such an expansive energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you said wait a moment, babies, I pictured all these baby dragons outside.
They're coming in. They must have been talking about them.
Sean wants to say something. Andrea's pointed out. Sorry, Sean.
Oh, no, it's okay. Robin said, what about dragon energy? And I thought the word that you missed was, Maddie said, who else is feeling it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't want to jump into anything. I can do that sometimes, so.
No, it's fine. It's all cool here.
Yeah. Both of my sons carry dragon energy. I was born in the Chinese little dragon, the snake. So yeah, dragon energy has always been there. Yeah. But not the same colors as people talk about though. So that's interesting.
I think when I see them more like the dragon off of the Never-Ending Story.
Yes.
Got what his name was. But yeah, more sort of more mammalian or whatever the word is to describe a mammal.
Yeah.
More of that than kind of reptilian.
Yeah. I think dragons have, I think in the Cherokee tradition or lineages, back in the 80s, I found a gal who wrote a book, and she was one of the first ones that actually said to me, dragons aren't mystical. I mean, myth. Dragons are beings that, were part of the realm, and, some see and some don't see them now. But the vibration was changed so that they wouldn't all be killed off, so that they wouldn't all become extinct. And so, interesting that the vibration is coming back in and that people are feeling it. Wow. But it's a very, to me, and it could be different to other people, but to me, dragon energy is a very ancient, sacred energy, very sacred energy. It's, it's not this, I don't know, craziness.
It has a primeval feeling to it as well, though. It's like, it can be, channeled in warfare. It can be channeled in art, or specifically sexuality as well. It seems to be a potent force of energy rather than a passive force.
Yes, it really, the thing about it is that, we can take it two ways. Sexual energy, like in the Orient, is a means of which it can be taken and used for other things, and not just the animal, And so with my understanding is that dragon energy is very functioning with that system, that sexual energy, that when I'm doing hands-on healing on somebody, I'm going to tell them, I say, you may get sexually aroused. It has nothing to do with me. You're feeling the energy. Okay, let's separate it. And it is a simultaneous thing, but that sexual energy, and that's why they have so many people caged down with all this sex stuff in all of our lives, generations, is that is a vital force for us as a living essence, and the dragons still honor it, that is where their source of energy comes from, and it's not done in a domineering, I'm going to take you and zap you, but it's to co-create and then, use that, it's a moving energy. It's to create.
You learn, instead of to instantly gratify with it, then you create your own light.
Yes, yes, yes. And the Garden of Eden story, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about eating of the fruit. And the thing is that you can have sexual activity, you can enjoy it, and but at the very end, you can use it to create with, on whatever level you can, or you can simply keep it for, a carnal pleasure, and that's it, and it stops there. So,
or projected someone in a harmful way.
Right.
Yeah, misapplied and misused. So it's a very potent energy, isn't it?
Yes.
Remember, you can use it in food, and this I want to show you guys. Can you see this?
There, yes.
So yesterday I was taking a picture of my food with this. This is a dragon. Martina gave me this. And I mean, I do all the time see people, but doesn't matter. But remember when we did the holographic dining, when I opened the holographic restaurant, so I always have people here who come, and now I'm working on a project, few projects. But what I found, not just last year, but at any time, very, very useful is when you come across something that you don't like, or when I came across something that I didn't like, I didn't judge it. And that moment of, so when you don't judge it, you create with it, or you just create with that energy. But the acknowledgement of saying, wow, I didn't judge that. Yeah, I am incredible. And you don't have to impress anybody. The only person you have to impress is you. So now when I'm creating for me. I'm not creating for anybody else. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy this. So I start to create for me. And what happened is, I want to come back to Martina's on scene, is that for me, a merge is in the process. I'm merging. And I can't really describe it at the moment, but it's very mystical. and I'm grateful for all of you here, because you all give me something, a contribution for, to delve into this even more deeper. When I'm in the woods, I see people. When I'm here, I see people. Like I said to Mary last year, remember when I was texting you, I took pictures of that guy who was here in the visit. Yeah. I was calling Martina, but she was probably somewhere shopping or doing her stuff. But
that's what I do all the time, right?
Shop. Of course, she brings me so many things all the time. Not now, obviously, COVID. But what I'm saying is, I like what Martina said, because it invites every single person here and the unseen to come, show us. Come, show us yourself, and let's create. And I actually started to learn something from them, and they started to learn something from me. Will be reviewed later, a year probably. But when people say to me, oh, like today somebody said to me, you can't do that, that's very hard. I'm like, okay, that's his opinion. I think I can do it, I believe I can do it. So I said, okay, I'm going to take that energy, this potent energy from this person. I'm going to love it, release, and create. That's
well, I, for one, am really pleased you got a holographic restaurant, Andrea, because I sent my precogs there.
And before I joined this Zoom, I must tell this to Martina. I was gonna call her. Before I joined the Zoom, I was just coming in here, and then suddenly Martina's holographic ball, I hear and I see this woman. She has these, the olden days, they had these, is it Victorian? Those dresses that went out. And I thought, Oh my God.
Hungarian Empire.
Yes.
Well, why don't we all go to? Why don't you open your
But the
holographic
funny thing
restaurant?
is, the Martin, I was there.
I'm everywhere, darling. I'm everywhere.
And then, yeah, but the holographic restaurant, yes, they come, they eat.
Well, we could all meet there.
I'm loving it, Laura.
Might
Let's
be
all
comfortable.
send our precogs to her because we need them fed like organically and properly. So all the precogs, send them to Andrea's restaurant.
Great.
I'm gonna do this from now on.
Yeah.
Okay,
me
now I'm
too.
already getting a backlash here because the majority of my precogs is all eating meat, and they say, "Fuck you, I'm
That's
not
fine, it's all right.
vegetarian."
But Martin, I
Especially not
remember
raw.
that movie you told me. The dragon, I have a dragon, and the dragon poos pearls. And when I took this picture, you see, this is what I'm saying. I'm grateful for you guys. I'm just realizing what happened yesterday. When I took that picture, that dragon, that movie that Martina said, can't remember the name, but I'm going to watch it.
Oh, the witches?
You know the blue thing. A starts with A. You know the dragon that pulls the pearls goes into this land. The Valerian.
Yeah. Guys, what's the one? The Galactic
Valerian?
Yes, something like that.
It's a blue movie, I think. Blue thingy.
What's the one with the Galactic Commerce Market?
Oh,
Valerian and the
yeah, Valerian.
Valerian.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Valerian.
And
Valerian, yeah.
you know, like when we say, "Oh, I have this," but the thing is, sometimes we don't utilize it.
Yeah.
Or we keep something, like let's say we have something treasure in our house, and we don't utilize it, not consciously, but we just okay, whatever. So it came up for me to actually co-create with this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I can't really explain, but I'm just telling you as it comes up, because I remember it was like 3-4 years ago, or 3 years ago we watched it, or we spoke about it with Martina. We have this galactic committee meetings, but she can't come now, so she can't eat my food.
Can I just, at that juncture, does everybody on the call know what precogs are? Lynn, when we talk about precogs, do you know what, because I don't want to lose people here, do you know what we're talking about when we talk about our precognitive workforce? You've heard us mention that a few times.
Yeah, is it like your allies and guides and things like that?
Well, partly, yeah, there are light bodies. So they're parts of us that we can send out and use or co-create with. Okay, so in the morning I might do a little ceremony and I'll send out my precogs in the day to sweep away anything from my path that's going to, bring me negativity without long-term elimination, or anything, set up things for you, book a restaurant table. I think Andrew suggested to me sometimes. Yeah, sorry.
They function in the unseen world. They function in the unseen world all the time, whether you're aware of them or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Sean said they find a parking space. Sorry, Laura.
Yeah, it's a parking space. Yeah. As Matty says, they're there whether you're aware of it or not, but once you're consciously aware of them, you can then use them in dream time and so on.
Yeah.
Who'd like to add to that? I'm trying to put it sort of basically. Amy, do you get what precogs are? Are you sort of okay with that?
Yeah, I didn't know what they were either.
Listen to one of Martina and Andrew's show.
And there's a
I hear the word, yeah. I hear the word, but
so it's almost like every conversation you're having, our conversation we're having now, we've got them all lined up. And it's almost like they assisting you in sometimes to formulate a sentence or to come up with a new subject or something. And then the postcogs come in too. They help you with with the analysis and the integration and everything. And the more specific you probably are with them, in the beginning at least, it's nice for them to be acknowledged too. You can really start working with them. So I use a lot of the pre and the postcogs in those off ad hoc chats, more or less consciously.
Martina,
Yeah, I
I
feel
have
like,
oh, sorry, guys.
no, I was just wanted to say that I probably am doing that, but didn't realize what it was.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
that.
thinking it was more spirits or future
Yeah, that's how I
self,
thought of it
future
as well.
self. Yeah,
Here you are.
It's
Give
parts
you a
of your
quick
consciousness,
definition.
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Quick definition from Andrew is precognitive workforce is our own non-hierarchical selves in equal co-creation, non-competition. And they will never overwhelm you because that will be stepping on your journey. As long as you are in the flow of creating imagery from your heart space and using the fundamentals from teachings of sacred neutrality, you will begin to have powerful flows and bursts of energy that will expand your awareness and knowingness in that moment. And it's building spiritual muscles that creates the contracts that allows the translation of their coding, of the coding of what they bring to us, the information, because information is light codes. Yeah, so
I think I've been doing that. It's just I don't call them precogs. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I don't.
it's
I think of it in a different way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I
Sorry,
do, but and I do. It's funny because I do thank them. Didn't know. I just automatically just thank them for showing me that or giving me that, or yeah, it's kind of cool.
Fantastic. You look like you're wearing a glorious hat.
Yes.
Yes, she does.
It's her aura.
That's my aura.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Thought she had a beautiful hairdo at first, you
I
know?
thought it was your halo.
Very exotic with flowers in it, you know?
Yeah.
Another thing, sorry? Another thing with the precogs though, you know, we can think of it as they, but we can also think of it as the we of me, you know? Because if you think of yourself all of your life, you know, at different times, there are different parts of you that come forth, deal with the situation. And, you know, we could think, oh my God, I'm all these different people, but you know, you're not. You just, you know, you've got a part that's very talkative and a part that doesn't want to talk and a part that's very social and a part that it's not. And so I kind of like to think of those as the rest of your we-ness, your I am we-ness, you know, it's a totality of you, tapping into parts of you that you've kind of like kept over here and the door is shut because it wasn't quite time for you to open that door yet, but using a fuller you, you know, that's how I like to think of the cognitive workforce.
Robin, I love that because in my internal dialogue, I don't tell this to people because in case they think I'm batshit crazy, which most people do already anyway. But
I said that all my life too, yeah.
In my internal dialogue, I am we, you know, it's like, oh, what have we done now? Can we do this? You know, I'm always a we.
Yeah.
Hands up if you're batshit crazy.
Well, anyone. Okay, let's say anyone who's not batshit crazy, please get out now.
I'm always aware that I'm never there's never just one me, and I'm never the same me from day to day.
Yes, and I think when Linda, I think when you really feel that, Linda, and you really know it's there, it kind of we kind of close ourselves up a little bit, you know, and so it's great that when we can get together as a group and say this and vocalize it, because like when you said that, your energy went whoop, you know, and it gave off this firework, and it's like, cool, she's going to open up, you know, burst forth. But you know, we have to understand that they've been trying to shut us down our whole life, and these things are like the, you know, they were showing me the blue rose opening the other day. And the thing about it is that every time another part of the petal opens, you see a beauty that wasn't there until it curved itself open. And all these cognitive things, they're us, you, all of you, they're you. So man, they don't want us to claim ourselves as a we, you know, as a one. You're this sphere, you know, there's not one point of view. There's, okay, 1 point for every degree, so that's 360, just one circle. And then there's 360 realms of them times 360 just a basic you, and we can only be one. No, we are we. You are so multis. Come on.
Robin, thanks for the, I liked your clarification. And also, before we get too far from it, because this conversation is flowing beautifully and synchronistically, but before we get too far from it, Laura, was that from your personal notes about precognitive workforce, or was
Yeah,
that
you
from...
can I'll make them available. What happened was, I think at the end of one of the mentorships, we were all asked to put questions to Andrew, and then it will go out as Ventures into Reality or something, which we all did. And my question was about precogs, and I just transcribed it. So I'll happily, where do you want? I'll put it on Earth Nouveau, yeah.
Wherever you want. Thank you.
Earth Nouveau, yeah. It was the 2018 December last show, which was really, really cool, because we all asked a specific question and we covered really big topics. And yours was the precogs, which was
and there is a lot on it, which obviously I'm not going to read now, but I'll certainly make that available, Sean. If you can't find it, I'll PM you and send it to you. But yeah, it's all really helpful in understanding. And just something to pick up on there, when Lynn was saying that she feels different on a different day, I'm not necessarily sure that's precogs. To me, that could be any number of things, like whether we've got a program in running the body, whether we're fully I am present. There's all various reasons, aren't there, why we feel different day to day.
Ancestral influences as well.
There's tons of stuff.
Tapping into your environment, whatever it is, even little records of it, like being emitted, walking through a broadcast frequency that you don't normally walk through. There's lots of little ways you can.
Have you got anything specific, Lynn, you're thinking of when you...
Well, I'm basically the same
up
person, but
feeling great.
I'm not the sort of person, I'm not habitual, so I don't always have the same thing for breakfast, or I don't always think or feel the same way about things, and I can't really be. I'll have to think about that one, Laura, and come back to you, I think, because I can't explain at the moment. But
it's authenticity. It's authenticity, Linda.
Yeah, I think it is authenticity. I don't think it's a program, because I suppose some of it could be a program, but it's like, it's not something that's distressing me, or it's not a pattern that's working against me or anything like that. It's more of my choices. It's a choice of the way I see things and how I'm interacting with things, I suppose.
Well, that's brilliant. That means you're operating, your sovereign I am presence. Yeah. Because you're aware of the choices you're making. Quite often the programs can be habitual and we slide into them without knowing that they've taken over the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm diverting, but that was just interesting, I thought, because I wouldn't, that's not a precognitive thing that I would say anyway.
Oh, right. Okay.
It could be anything really, because your levels of awareness are changing on a second to second basis. You're integrating soul shards, you're letting some go, you're healing some, you're kicking some out. Precogs, postcogs, hubs of interconnectivities coming in. You meet your soul family, you let go of some demons, it's like whoosh. So you have a dream completely changes your I mean, I feel completely different. Can you perceive? I mean, I can perceive people's energy. They come on one week, the next week they're totally different people.
Hey, Martina, I have a question for you, Martina.
Yes.
So you've done like a whole year now with shows with Andrew, and it just interests me to see how that journey has been for you, because I know with Andrew, a lot of people that work with him don't last very long. But you seem to be going the distance where many others fail to do so.
I think I am getting tired of him soon now. Yeah.
We won't tell him.
No, this has been an amazing journey for me to come out of the closet, because one of the things what I had never done before was actually to be seen. I was heard a lot of blah, 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 writing stuff and all that, but I never allowed myself to be seen. And, you know, it was a time in the beginning, the Facebook Lives, and I thought, I don't really have anything to say. It had to have a certain meaning. And when he asked me to come on, I said, oh, come on. No. And he asked me again, I thought, really? Okay. And then as we started doing this, I started to get to know myself in a way that I hadn't known myself. And the most intriguing thing was the ease from the very beginning. I never felt, and look, I talk a lot of shit, and you know, but when I come on, I'm in the moment. It's almost like when the music comes on, roller coaster, whoosh, and we're sitting in the car, and I literally have no idea. Like yesterday, we had no idea, and we just started talking. I said, let's not do anything else than that, and see what comes through, what comes out, you know. And so that journey has been. I'm tremendously grateful, you know, to him. That I have this opportunity, and obviously, you know, work with him and work with the team, you know, because we're still working together, all the mentorship groups. So it's not just my conversations with him. It has been a coming out of the closet. Yeah, this is me, and it's been ease. And where's it gonna go? I have no idea. I have no idea, but I'm really enjoying it.
You've made some wonderful manifestations that will last way beyond anything we have comprehension of.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I'm realizing now, and this is what I have never really until now acknowledged until last year. We did a hot seat, Laura and Mary. We all did hot seats with him on a private session, which was really good fun. And that was for me. My hot seat was, okay, I want to do hot seats, and I want to be in it. And I want to come out of the closet. And for the first time, we really talked about my walk-in, because I live in this other world. This is so normal to me that when I hear about the precogs, I need to learn it to realize that I live there. So it's not easier for me as a walk-in because I have that connection, because I have never acknowledged it. And I've come from such a hardship thinking, oh, I know nothing and I don't know how to do this, especially with the unseen world, only to recognize that I live there. It's like, oh. So it's very difficult for me, really. It used to be even more to turn it around and just acknowledge it. And I think this is why sometimes to create a separation between you and your guides and your precogs and everything is quite useful, so that you can acknowledge it. And once you've acknowledged it, then you become it again, you know, that type of stuff. So I think to answer the question is, I've acknowledged a lot about myself that I have never acknowledged before. Has my life changed in that? It has become more authentic. It has become more joyful. I have become more congruent with who I am. And that's it. More in the moment, more in the now. Now, how do you perceive that? I mean, you've seen me in the beginning and you see me now. How has the energy changed? I'm not seeking, validation or anything, but it would be quite interesting to hear your feedback as well.
Well, I think that he compliments you very, very well, you him as well, because, you know, he has this wonderful skill to be able to take up where you leave off and you know, and ramp it up or tidy up the pieces and the parts. And he does this to everybody, you know, anyone who's ever talked to him, you know what he does. You know? And for me, it's just the longevity and how you've managed to do it, and the Zoom as well, and always keep up that flow, because, you know, some of the times I think, you know, he just throws you a slingshot, doesn't he? He says, so Martina, do you want to take up this question? I'm like, whoa, even I would be like, cool. I was expecting him to have the right answer for that question. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so I think you can give yourself a big pat on the back, because you've, you know, it's been
but that's
fantastic.
so interesting, because I love that. Throw me in the cold water and I'm the best. Don't tell me we're going to talk about this tomorrow, because it's freaking me out, because I go into, oh God, just
anxiety.
ask me right then, you know?
Yeah.
what I like about our conversations is we do not align and agree. We do not resist and react. Okay. We are always adding something. He says something that triggers something in me. Then I say something that triggers something in him. And that's what I like. There is non-competition. There's no hierarchy. There is just a coming together, a triggering. And you have to be in the moment. If you're not in the moment, it's going to be difficult. And that has been, that has been the biggest, what's the word? Acknowledgement for me, how I can do that, because I can now see when I have a conversation with somebody else and it doesn't flow, I'm like, what's going on? I can so see the difference now, you know? And also I can perceive the difference when I'm with the right person that inspires me and receives me, okay? Really, really important to be received by somebody and to be seen by somebody and to be heard by somebody. What the difference is, how inspired you are. When I come off that Zoom, I'm like, okay, let's get started here. I can do this for hours. And then when you have a conversation with somebody where the wall comes up and they're not present and you are like, oh, how exhausting that is, you know, and that's been the biggest gift actually. Be able to recognize the difference. Hi, Dolly.
Hi.
For me, Martina, you are totally different. For me, because obviously I know a little bit more, but for me, it's a journey of a self exploration. If I had to describe you or how I saw you before and now, I think it was already there. I don't think that you ever had any problems speaking. I don't think anyway. And I don't think you had ever problems like, okay, do you follow? Because I know you. So I you know. But for me, it's, if I had to describe it, that you went in so deep into yourself that it opened up another layer for not only the people in this reality, but for the people in a different realm. So when you started to speak, you had this chair and you were sitting on that chair and nobody was able to move you. And I did tell you something last year, and all day I kept thinking today, who did I say this? Who did I say this? And I did tell you, I think it was you, that on the 13th of January, and all day I'm thinking, what is going on today? What is going on today? And today you got your chair, the chair. I see you in it as soon as you started to speak. And I'm thinking, who did I say something about the third? All day it was in my head. And as soon as you started to speak, I'm like, Martina, I think I told you this last time. You went into so deep that I couldn't even recognize you. I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. Because we know each other different. For me, it's a deep, much deeper level than it looks for me anyway. It's a how can I say?
No, it's fine. I get it.
Things are manifesting big time.
It's different when you are on Zooms with many people, because as you just mentioned, you are actually very much aware of the unseen. And this is what turns me on, because this is my strength is the hub of interconnectivity. It's not about what I say. Yeah. That's why I'm a good pendant to him, because I allow him to speak. I just inspire him. I'm the one who asks more of the questions so that he can actually present his material, because I don't have an ego. Yeah. It's not about me coming up with all these great things. For me, it's about being able to inspire him to say what he wants to say, what is required. And there's a huge understanding on the unseen level, what needs to be said. And I can bring that out. That's how I perceive that, you know.
You're a great facilitator, I think, of the information.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am a facilitator. It's not about my material. I facilitate. this is what I
Yes.
do. I'm an empowerment facilitator, and that is what turns me on.
But you're also in it though, Martina. You're not unseen
yeah.
in it. You're very much seen, and
Oh,
who you
yes.
are and what you're bringing is
Yes.
very much seen. So you're not hidden in that facilitation. But what I think is wonderful about the way you are in it, to be honest, I haven't seen you really change much at all, and I've known you now for quite a few years. And to me, you're actually the same. You just sit there and throw me the questions and I'll answer them or you'll divert them. You don't suffer from stage fright, and if you don't know something, you don't panic. So you're very calm when you're in the spotlight, as it were, which can be very difficult for a lot of people. But I think you complement Andrew's energy and Andrew's delivery really well, and because you're in the moment, you just seem to know what's needed in the moment.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
That's not,
Yeah.
I don't hijack.
And I
this.
can
It's like Andrew says, there are 5 dragons and they have 10 heads. And Martin says, okay, so let's talk about that. So what is that, Andrew? And Andrew
No,
goes,
because
woo.
I'm genuinely interested in the material, and I'm quite, if it wouldn't interest me, then I couldn't do it. I couldn't pretend. There's one thing I can't do. I can't pretend. I can't pretend I'm interested.
You're fearless.
Yeah.
You're fearless. And I've known you and been on 2 medicine journeys with you. We've shared the same bed, and we've been through some terrific.
Now.
No.
Are you sure you want to say that, Laura?
She's been brilliant. She's grounded me. She held my hand when I couldn't sleep or something happened. There is a big heart side to Martina, but honestly, when I first met her, she was a bit scary. And
I am scary. People think I'm scary.
Because I was working through my empathic side, and it's not that Martina doesn't handle fools, she does, but I was a little bit in awe, and I thought this person's got a lot to teach me, because there's part of a masculine energy about Martina I don't have. And I've watched her and listened to her before she was with Andrew, obviously. And she's right. The hot seats were a huge unfolding for all of us, including Mary and Dave and Jess, who aren't here. And I think we gave Andrew one as well, didn't we? So that was a big one for me. And I've got so much respect for you and admiration, and what you've achieved and what you've taught me. And you always have something very wise to say. And sometimes I cringe a bit, and sometimes I think, oh, and then I realize, what you said was right. And I question, I think, was that neutral? Was she really being neutral? And I think about it. Yeah, she was being neutral. She was being neutral. She practices it. And Martina does practice what she teaches. And I think, that is so obvious. If somebody's done the work, then, and I'm proud of her as my friend, as my mentorship friend, as a personal friend. I'm so proud of her magnificent journey back to source is so inspiring for all of us. I mean, you've inspired me, and I'm not scared of you now. But I tell you what, I mean, I think I said on one of the Zooms once, I spent 48 hours with Martina, really on form. Mary and I did, and it's like, oh, she's going back. I can have a break. Somebody's going to stop asking me questions and putting me on the spot and making me face my other I ams, or making me face these programs, which she does, doesn't she, Mary?
She does. Martina, you said you talk a lot of bullshit. Actually, I don't think you ever talk bullshit. I just think you say it as it is. As it is, Martina.
And we just don't always want to hear it. So I'm worn out when she goes home, but in a good way.
I'm not a gossip girl. Yes, I don't do gossip. For me, everything is very much a facilitation, because that's how I have lived my life in order to survive, and that's who I am. And also, I think it's that I have this capacity to go straight to the wounded place
Yeah.
straight. I
Yeah.
can see exactly what's going on, and I don't
Yeah.
shy away because
No,
I don't have the ego. It's okay if you think I'm crazy. It's okay because I probably am, you know, and that's okay. So, but thank you so much, guys. You know, and you know what? I pulled the celebration card.
Wow.
You know,
Good.
something, you know,
Yeah.
so this is my little celebration. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, why not? Why not do
Thank
that?
you, guys.
Yay.
You much appreciate and receiving. That's something I had to learn as well. It's like, oh no, let's not talk about me. Yeah, let's not. Yes, thank you. I'm receiving that with gratitude from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
receiving.
I
you.
just have
Yeah.
I just have to say, I fell in love with you the first time that I saw you and Andrew. I'm like, I love this lady. Who is she? She's very intriguing.
Soul
Like
family.
yeah,
Soul family.
feels like it. Feels
Yes.
like it.
It does.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you one of her other selves because I saw it on the medicine journey. Princess Mia of Lyra, which is where the lioness.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, absolutely, the lioness. And in Plenty of Dreams, I've had sort of the mentorship behind closed doors, and then Martina out there in the garden, weren't you, patrol?
Yeah.
And the large cat.
She has the hair for it.
That's a
The
hair.
hair
Yes.
for it.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Leo. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I've got to shoot off, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is
Okay.
Love and leave you all.
to end on. It's a
Thank you,
cheerful
Massey.
note to end on. So
And thank
Hi,
you,
Marty.
guys.
It was wonderful
Yeah.
talking with you.
Time.
Bye, guys.
lovely. Thank you for
Okay,
coming.
thanks
Bye.
everyone. Bye
Guys.
bye.
Bye,
Take
everyone.
care.
Thanks ever so much. See you next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Write
Aloha.
your dreams down. Write your dreams
Peace.
down. Dream
Oh,
journal.
yes. Journal those dreams.
Yes.
Get the dragon out. Let those pearls come out.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank
Peace.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
Sean.
Bye.
Bye, Amy. Bye.